And it is indeed 8 p.m. So welcome to our ACSM supervision capsule. And the topic today is presence. And if we read the fine print, it says this is an opportunity for you to ask questions about presence as a coach or as a supervisor. Yet the format that is ours today, Facebook Live, means that I don't see you. I see myself. So much for being present to you. And there is no opportunity for us to talk live to each other. Yet there is an opportunity for you to interact through the write a comment box in the bottom right corner of your screen. So whatever questions you have about presence, just type it there. And I'm told there is a little lag in between the time you type it and the time I see it. So I won't stop straight away, but I'll make sure I keep an eye on it and we'll answer the questions you have. Ready? What is that thing that we call presence? Why is it important? Is it actually important? Out of the International Coach Federation 11 core competencies, would it be the most important? Would it be among the top most important? Would it be somewhere in the middle? Or would it be all the way down there? If I get everything else right, I'm good at listening, I'm good at asking questions and all of that. Never mind whether I'm present or not. My experience, both as a coach and even more so as a supervisor, is that presence is absolutely key. If there is nothing else and there is presence, my experience is magic happens. If there is everything else, but there is no presence, and it happens quite a good share of the time, then it's not really coaching. It may be more advising or consulting, but the essence of coaching and supervision, my experience is that presence is what makes the difference. The higher the quality of the presence, the higher the transformation for the client. So let me invite you to take just a minute to bring yourself to presence. And as you do that, to be mindful as to how present are you at the point I ask you to bring yourself to presence. And how is your presence rising during that 1 minute? Or going down, whatever happens. But really to take a minute for you to sense within yourself, how present am I to this right here, right now? 1 minute, starting now. So that's your 1 minute. For the one of you that just joined, we were giving ourselves 1 minute to bring ourselves to presence. and to really observe how present are we. And as we bring ourselves to present, how is presence impacted? So to really watch live the quality of our presence. I remind all of you, for the one that just joined, that you are welcome to ask questions. The aim of this session is for me to answer your question about presence. So you can type it in the comment box on the bottom right corner. If we break down presence in components, the most obvious distinction to me, and I say the most obvious, but maybe also the most challenging, is about being rather than doing. Very often we are caught in that continuous, massive doing process. Do. I have to do, I'm paid to do, I'm good at doing, I'm going to make sure I do. And if you contrast presence with either being or doing, I am present, I don't do present. So presence is a being quality. And the more there is that compulsion in us, that habit, that conditioning to fall into the doing, the less present we are. And the way to become more present is to let go of the doing. Now, of course, in coaching, there is still outcomes to achieve. I'm not saying that we're not going to do anything. But if you are mindful of the quality of your presence, when are you better present? When you be or when you do? For the supervisors among us, my own supervisor, Edna Murdoch, coined the sentence, nothing to do, nowhere to go. Nothing to do. I mean, when I first heard that at the beginning of my year-long course as a coaching supervisor, it made no sense. Why would people pay me to supervise them and there is nothing to do? But that is where the magic arises from. So that's the first distinction. The second distinction is here, right here. We are so scattered in our day-to-day life. Oh, yeah, I'm here, but I'm thinking about my niece who did so well yesterday in our jumping event. And it's so easy for us not to be here. And with that technology, I had a client the weekend before last, two weekends ago. He could not detach himself from that tool. So in a way, he could not be fully here. He had to remain, if something comes from there, I have to be there. And if I have to be there, I cannot be fully here. So the ability to let go of there, anywhere else, and just be here is critical to presence. The third distinction is now, as opposed to the past. I should have, I could have, I wish. Or the future. Well, because now is not exactly what I want it to be. That's what I want in the future. And when that happens, then I'll be happy. And letting go of both the past and the future. And just now. So if you put all three together, to me, presence is be here now. If we look at the implications of that, that means no expectations. That means letting go of expectations. Letting go of expectations of ourselves. I have to be a good coach. I have to be good supervisors. I have to provide value to my client. And expectation from the client. The client has to deliver on this and that and that. That's really opposite to presence. Because presence is, I'm here. But we have so many expectations, we carry so many expectations for ourselves and for others, that letting go of expectations takes a lot of work. And therefore, developing the quality of presence takes a lot of work. It's a muscle. You have to exercise it. And at the beginning, it hurts. But at some point, you've exercised it enough and you adjust it. The second element next to no expectation is no judgment. Letting go of judgment. And we carry so much judgment for ourselves and for our clients and for everything. The room is too cold. My coffee doesn't have enough sugar. So there is so much expectations and so much judgment. That it gets into the way of presence. And Francis is asking, what is an indicator that you are present? To me, that's one of them. Well, that's two of them. No expectation, no judgment. If you can sense, oh, I've let go of expectations and judgment in the context of my relationship with this client here and now, then you are present to what is. If I take another example, yesterday, I had a conversation with the sponsor of a potential client, a European multinational looking at coaching a number of their promising leaders in Asia Pacific, a lady based out of Switzerland. And we were on Zoom, and my camera was on. And at the beginning of the conversation, I told her, I can hear you, but I can't see you. And she said, no, I'm not switching on my camera because I just had a dentist procedures and my face looks all swollen. And my response to her is, you're welcome as you are. There are days our face is okay, and there are days we went to the dentist and our face is not okay. If you want to be on camera, that's okay. And if you prefer not to be on camera, that's okay. It's accepting what is. And about halfway through the conversation, she switched on the camera because she had become comfortable. So in a way, presence had made her comfortable to be seen. And that's really another way to answer your question, Francis, is the felt sense by the client of, you are here for me. And when that happens, the felt sense by the client of, you see me, I am seen. And that is one of the most powerful experiences human beings have. It is one of the most transformative experience for people. Oh, you see me, and you accept me, and you're not judging me. So it really brings full acceptance. No expectations, no judgment. You is welcome. The one of us that did the diploma in coaching supervision will remember in the first session, it blew my mind. One of the participants had a really bad flu. And one of the teachers said, you are welcome, and so is your flu. And you could see the fellow completely relaxed because he felt so uncomfortable to be there with a flu and disturbed, and suddenly he was accepted as he is. So if I take a moment to read the questions that are now coming in. What is the similarity or difference between presence or Gestalt? I'm not a Gestalt specialist, so I'd rather not answer. I can talk about presence in depth, but I'm just not knowledgeable enough to contrast it to Gestalt. No expectation, no judgment, yes. The client can feel your compassion. So what is the relationship in between presence and compassion? Is one coming from the other? Is the other coming from one? I've not given thought to that. I'll ponder over that. Compassion is really an important quality. That how correlated is presence to compassion? I don't know. Interesting question. Thank you, Francis. I am good enough. Well, let's get to that. And that will be the last part of our 20 minutes together. If we be here now, no expectation, no judgment, I'm here for you, and it's a felt sense that you have. I see you, and it is a felt sense that you have. You, whoever, however, whatever, is welcome. Then it really boils down to acceptance of what is. You nailed it on the dot, Virginie. It is what it is. And if we can accept what is, which we're so bad at, instead of resisting, which we think we are so good at, and consume so much of our energy and create so much pain and so much suffering at individual level, at community level, at worldwide level. If we can expand rather than contract, and that's why breathing is such a powerful way to access presence, because it's expand, contract is the pulsation of life. So if we accept what is, then we're good enough. And the client is good enough, and everything is good enough. And what is exactly what is meant to be. And there is no resistance. There is no pushing of walls. And out of that acceptance, it is what it is, arises choice rather than victimhood. If I resist what is, then I'm a victim. Oh, the world is doing that to me and I have no choice. Or it is what it is. Today it is raining, and this time I wanted to go to the swimming pool and it's raining and I can't go to the swimming pool. But in an hour it won't be raining any longer, it will be sunny and I can go to the swimming pool. So relaxing into accepting what is, to me, is absolutely transformational. And that's really what presence does. It brings us in a place of it is what it is. In my experience, to conclude, is that very process for ourselves of accepting what is, and for our clients to experience that very often for the first time, has got a healing nature. It helps them to heal wounds that they may have carried for quite some time. And in that regard, again, it is transformational. And it is a virtuous cycle. Because presence is not easy. Presence is not a given. Presence requires significant practice. Accepting what is requires significant practice. It's a spiritual practice. And for the one of us that are on a spiritual journey, it is years in the making, if not decades in the making. It's a lifelong work. What is one tip on getting myself present before my coaching? I'd be curious to hear your own answer, Francis, because different people will have different answers. And what works for me may not work for you. One thing that works for me is a mantra. I tell myself before I enter a coaching or supervision session, I don't know and I'm curious. But that's for me. For you, I don't know. It is 8:20, so we are coming to the end of our session together. For the one of you that have joined, thank you very much for joining. If I've missed any of the questions, I'll run through them and answer them. And if you wish to have further conversation, I'll be happy to do that. Till then, have a lovely evening. Bye.